Everybody, good afternoon, good evening. This is your boy Kevin Thornton. You have tuned in to the Wellness Architect Show. Today is a Monday, November 19th, 2018. The Thanksgiving week. Hope everybody's having a great time, great week that's going on. I'm recovering from a cold. I've been traveling back and forth to Cleveland and Detroit, and we're still going to the cold and coming back down here. I caught a cold, so luckily I got a great co-host today to help fill my void while I try to recover. Tonight's gonna be a very amazing show. As we head into 2019, I want to give you some holistic skills that you can use in 2019 to help heal you naturally by using essential oils. I'm a firm believer in essential oils. I believe that by using essential oils, food, herbs and spices, that you can heal pretty much anything that you want that you're going through. And I have a certified essential oil coach and also a certified holistic health coach as well.
Correct.
So she's gonna do everything and talk about everything about essential oils. So if you're looking at me on Facebook Live, please leave in comments any questions you may have, and I will respond back to you or ask her the question so we can respond back to you. So if you have any questions about a certain illness, like migraines or anything like that, and what is needed to use essential oils wise, we'll give you the answer. So just let us know, and we'll go from there. So without further ado, my esteemed, the number to call in if you have a question is 470-251-4647. Once again, 470-251-4647. Now, without further ado, my co-host, Miss Erika Conklin. How are you, man?
Oh, well, thank you for having me. And thank you to everyone for tuning in to this special edition of the Wellness Architect Show, Living Healthier and Happier with Essential Oils with Miss Marylou Harris. I'm so happy to have her here. She is an expert. She's dedicated. She's passionate about essential oils and their therapeutic effects. I think that there's a lot of miseducation, or there's very little education about what essential oils are, what they really can do for your body, your physical body, your energy body, your emotional body, your spiritual body. So it affects all of that. And I think that has been reduced to just it smells good or it makes the room smell fresh.
Okay.
And it does.
It does.
But it also has the capabilities, depending on the type of essential oil that you buy, there are not all made the same. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to compare what you get off of the store and what we're here presenting and informing those who don't know. doTERRA essential oils. We have a doTERRA wellness advocate here. One, two. And we're going to provide you with, inform you with the tools for your arsenal to equip you, to help you combat the everyday external factors that we're all dealing with, the stress, the health issues. We're going to address them to this. I think today is very important. You want to stay tuned for this because this is going to be a special treat.
Life-changing stuff, for sure.
Life-changing stuff. So without further ado, Miss Marylou Harris.
Hi. Well, thank you for having me. I'm
Thank
so glad
you.
to be here. So, yeah, I am a certified essential oils coach, and I am also a holistic health coach, and I love educating people on basically how to support their bodies naturally. Because as you said, our bodies are amazing. Our bodies can take care of anything that comes along.
Right.
We just don't know how to support it anymore. You know, we've become a chemically based world, a toxic world. So we need to get back to the old world ways of eating right, using oils and herbs, and moving our body enough during the day and getting vitamin D from the sun and things like that. And our bodies will start performing again.
Right.
I started this journey to natural health and wellness because I was very sick in my early 40s. I was suffering from low thyroid, adrenal fatigue. I was hormonally imbalanced like crazy. I had anxiety for the first time in my life. My weight was going up, even though my intake was going down. And a lot of things didn't make sense. And so when my systems started shutting down, it really caught my attention because I came from longevity, I came from athletes, I came from a healthy environment, and I didn't understand it. So I had to dive deep and find out, why did this happen? Why did my body begin to fail? How could I correct it, and how could I live a healthier and more vibrant life and get back to, just feeling like me again? When I was 40, I felt like I was 80. I couldn't stay awake past 8 o'clock at night. Literally would just fall asleep on the couch watching TV with my kids in the evening, and it was frightening. So what I learned, and it took me too long to learn it, there weren't health coaches in the early 2000s like there are now. Coaches, I always say coaches were for athletes and sports teams, and not just me, the lady that didn't know how to navigate the grocery store in a healthy way.
Right.
Literally cried the first 3 times I went to the grocery store when I realized I could eat nothing. I had created all these food allergies in my body and sensitivities. I thought I would just starve to death. But long story short, 9 years later, I looked back and I thought, that really wasn't that hard. But the stuff that's for sale at the grocery store and the mall will kill you, and there's nobody protecting us. So we have to be our own advocates.
Right.
So,
I think a lot of those symptoms, people just say that, it's getting older.
Right.
And we kind of like chump it off to that, when really it's about our intake, it's about our lifestyle.
It's about our environment.
It's about our environment.
Yeah, look at the ladies' room where we just came out of. They are blasting this toxic fake fragrance in there that's so strong you can barely get out of there fast enough without, what happens to me is I smell stuff like that fake fragrance, air freshener stuff, and I get a headache almost immediately. My throat starts to hurt, and I feel mucus forming in my throat because it's trying to protect my thyroid. My body's gone into attack mode. And I start, for a few minutes because that's my body's defense. So I didn't know what those signals meant when I was getting sick. My house was full of that stuff.
So how'd you, during this process and this journey, how'd you start getting to essential oils?
I was looking for healthy over-the-counter meds, replacements for over-the-counter meds, like something for a headache, something for heartburn, something for muscle aches and pains. And then I started noticing some pretty profound emotional changes in myself and in my family. And so I really went looking deep into why that was and learned all about the chemical compounds and how they affect the brain. And, from a physical standpoint, it's pretty basic. Our body is a system of systems, and the different chemical compounds in the different essential oils support the different body systems, right? So that makes sense. But emotionally, the molecules of an essential oil are so small and volatile, they get into the brain very quickly through the nose, and they make immediate changes. You can literally take somebody who's stressed out and angry and instantly calm them down with just by inhaling an essential oil from their hand.
Right.
It's amazing. I have seen miracles happen right before my eyes.
Okay.
So it's
So
very, very cool.
how did you end up, because there's a lot of essential oils out there, a lot of names. You have some that's in the grocery store, and you got the ones that's like doTERRA and Young Living. How did you get to the point, we talked about off air, but for those who don't know, how did you base your decision on picking doTERRA?
Because I had been so sick and it took me years to get well, I was going to be very, very discerning of what I put on or in my body. So I did a lot of research. And in a nutshell, doTERRA is the only company that's never failed a quality test. And I know that they never will. They have a beautiful heart. They have a lot of integrity. So I'm really excited and proud to be a representative of that company. They do a lot of philanthropic work. That went into it for me. I did not go to doTERRA looking for a line to rep. I went to doTERRA looking for something to use on my recently detoxified body. So I didn't come at it from anything financial. I didn't care about making money or whatever. But when I got into it and saw their heart and saw their desire to make the world literally a better place with hospitals and schools, and they made a floating hospital in the Amazon region because nobody lives in a concentrated area. They live along the water very remotely, so doTERRA just put a hospital that just goes up and down the river. And if you need help, you walk to the shoreline, raise your hand, and they let you climb aboard. That's pretty cool. So
Wow.
they've put hospitals in Somalia where we get our frankincense, where there was never any kind of medical care. So it really is a beautiful company. I'm very proud to be part of it, and I love their products, and I love that their quality standards are so high, and that I don't have to worry about them. When my business evolved into full-time health coaching, I have people that have cancer, that have MS, lupus, women trying to get pregnant, who are pregnant, newborn babies, nursing mothers. These are our very most delicate. I've got to be able to trust the oil that I use. And I tried a couple from the grocery store before I found doTERRA. And the way the retail model works is they literally have to buy something that they can sell after they've marked it up 800% at a price you're still going to buy it. So at best, it's fragrance. It can't possibly have any therapeutic qualities to it because of the amount they've had to procure it for in order to meet their business model profit numbers. So that's how I explain to people why you're never going to find a company like doTERRA in a grocery store or anywhere other than direct sales. It's the only way people can afford it because it doesn't have the infrastructure overhead that a big box store has. Does that make sense?
Yes. So tell us more about how doTERRA is different from others in that they get their essential oils at location.
Yes, yeah. doTERRA only sources their essential oils from where the product grows the best indigenously. So whereby it would be much cheaper to, let's say, get your lemon oil from Florida. They go to Italy and Brazil and places like that where the plants have originated, because that's going to be the strongest plant. Anytime we transplant a plant into a different region, it's not going to be as prolific, and the stronger plant makes the stronger essential oil, the more therapeutic. These truly are plant-based medicines, not just fragrances. So
right, I don't think people quite understand, and there's, like we said, there's a little information about this, and these things have been around since biblical times.
Right.
There's 188 references,
right,
biblical references to essential oils such as frankincense, myrrh, spikenard. So this has been around for millennia.
Yeah.
Not in the United
medicine.
States, right?
That's how I say it.
It's the original, and it's comes from plants. I mean, how many plants does it take to make one really essential oil? It's a lot.
Right, it is a lot.
It is a lot of plants. I mean, we're talking about
35 pounds of lavender flowers to make one bottle of oil.
Right.
And if you like herbs, you're going to love oils because they're even 25 times stronger than that. So to get the equivalent of 1 drop of doTERRA peppermint oil, you'd have to have about 26 tea bags of peppermint tea.
Right.
So that's, really
concentrated.
That's one of the reasons why I was leaning, as I started doing my research, because I'm going to talk to you about that afterwards, because I need oils I get headaches a lot. And I know, like, now I'm getting sick, the mucus. So what I've been doing, let me know if this is correct. What I've been doing is I'll put like a pot of boiling water, and I'll put some peppermint essential oil drops in the water, and then I'll take a towel and I'll go over the water.
You got to close your eyes because it's fierce, right?
And I close my eyes and I'll take some deep and rest. And I do
and you better have some tissues handy.
Yeah.
Because you are going to get a lot out of your head.
Yeah.
I've done that. It's amazing.
And it takes all the mucus out. I could tell it instantly.
Sinus pressure goes away immediately.
Okay.
I came home with, I was pretty new to oils, and I wasn't bringing them with me everywhere I went like I do now. And my grandson was a tiny baby and just kind of learning to kiss. You know how they like suck your whole face when they do that. And I came home thinking that, oh, my throat's sore from the wood stove burning. And then about halfway from the drive from Asheville to here, I went, oh no, I'm getting sick. And so I literally woke up the next morning feeling like I couldn't touch my skin. My face hurt so bad. And I could feel it going to my ear. And I thought, oh no. And I did that I used the Breathe blend, which has peppermint in it. But it's also got some eucalyptus, which is really good for boosting immune system. And then I took just a couple drops of Breathe and a couple drops of oregano because it's really strong in antibacterial properties. And I wanted that to get into the sinuses that I could feel the infection forming. So I did that, exactly what you said. Closed my eyes, breathed in through my nose real deep. Well, it stung a little. And I tell people that. I wouldn't say it burned, but the oregano oil is fierce.
Warm oil. It's a warm oil. It's very strong.
But I will tell you that I did that once. I did not get a sinus infection. I did not get an ear infection, and my cold was gone in 2 days.
Right.
Have you ever heard of a cold being gone in 2 days?
Yeah.
No.
And see,
again, it's just supporting the body.
The oregano oil is amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. And,
It is.
I was trying to tell. I ain't gonna say the person's name, but I told my cousin he had an infection, and I said, go get you some oregano oil, and take that because that will help. It's great for antibacterial and all the kinds of antifungal, and I said it'll help you get rid of the infection. But when he saw the price of it, he was like, no, and I'm like, there's no price.
Little.
Right, because it is
so little, yeah.
It is so strong. And I have to say something else about Breathe Blend. I have a almost 3-year-old nephew, and his nose was just running. And he was trying to play, and I was like, why is he breathing out of his mouth? And then I got a little closer, and so I put the few drops of the Breathe Blend into the diffuser and just let him kind of play around. And for the rest of the day and the next, there was no, you need to sleep with it. For those who have like sinus allergy issues, I always recommend the doTERRA Breathe Blend to sleep with it at night, really. Just and it takes 20 minutes really to get into your system. So you don't have to do it all night long. I'll tell you that. How long do you recommend somebody?
I diffuse all night long. That's just me. I mean, I love it. And I know women who have literally told me that I have saved their marriage because their husband doesn't snore anymore because of the Breathe Blend. Because it just opens the airways. You know,
it's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Really?
It is very good, and it is a huge difference. I had someone. I was coming down with something. I told someone, "Do you have any essential oils?" And they put stuff, and they were just piling the oils on, and I still could barely. Yeah. And I was just like, doTERRA is way stronger than this. Like,
I love sharing doTERRA oils with people that have used like the grocery store or the health food store oils, because they always do the same thing. I'm like, put a drop in your hands and go like this, and they always do this, and they go, whoa, because they're not ready for it, because it's so much stronger. And that's, again, from a price standpoint, what I always tell people. Okay, so if you need 5 drops of grocery store peppermint oil to equal 1 drop of doTERRA, and doTERRA isn't 5 times more expensive than the one at the grocery store, which it's not, you're actually paying more for the cheaper oils, right? Because you have to use so much more.
Right.
Yeah. So, and a 15 milliliter bottle is 250 drops approximately, and so if it's a $25 bottle of oil, I mean, think about how little, because you're using a drop or 2 at a time. So it's very, very potent, and again, that's why it works. So. And topically, you can put it on topically, and it penetrates the skin very easily, gets into the bloodstream. It can actually penetrate the cell walls, which nothing else can do that. There's not a synthetic medication available that can get in your cells, but the essential oil molecule is a lipid, and the cell wall lining is lipid, and like accepts like. So it literally can get in there and help shorten the life of viruses. So
Okay.
Very cool.
So, for someone who suffers from like migraines, what would you what oil would you recommend?
Well, my questions usually have I ask questions before I give answers, because migraine is a pretty broad topic. And again, we're not healing or curing with essential oils. We're just supporting the system of the body that is creating the symptom of the headache, right?
Right.
So a lot of times migraines with women are, if they happen around their cycle, then they're hormonal headaches. I don't think that's your case.
No, but I have someone I know that gets them a lot, but I think hers is more stress that creates the
and
migraine.
stress contention. Here's what I do when I'm stressed. I raise my shoulders up, and then what happens? I get those shoulder spasms that go up into my neck, and then they wrap around my head. I'm a jaw clencher too when I'm nervous, and that creates that TMJ kind of headache, which is really painful right here. So I would ask, just more information of the person with the headaches, and help me get to the root cause of what might be actually creating the headache symptom. Because the body is really good at telling us things. We just have to learn how to listen. And my body was screaming at me before I started paying attention. So I just try to teach people now to listen to their symptoms as signals. We don't, allopathic medicine, prescription medications, they just shut down our symptoms, when our symptoms are really our best friend, because they're going to lead us to that root cause of what our body's trying to tell us. So I have a device. It's a biofeedback scanner, and it fits in the palm of your hand, and it actually measures your body on a cellular frequency level. And it can, by telling me areas of the body that are lower frequency than we would prefer the body be, the reciprocal chemical compounds that will pull that frequency higher, because we want to be high frequency.
Right.
High frequency is everything we love. It's health, happiness. I always say it's puppy dog kisses and baby laughter. It's everything that makes us happy, right? Even words. And everything low frequency is disease, depression, all the bad words. So we want to bring that frequency in the body up. And so that scanner tells me, and a lot of times that will lead me to why somebody can't sleep, or, we can figure out that they've got digestive issues that they may not even realize they have. Sometimes people get so used to feeling lousy, they don't even realize
what's
that
normal.
they're just sucking it up every day, until I've had a lot of people tell me that, like, wow, I didn't realize how bad I felt until I didn't feel that way anymore.
Okay.
It's like boiling frog. It just gets a little bit worse every day, and you just deal with it. We adapt, right?
Okay.
So the scanner can really zero down very specifically to whether an area is physically, emotionally, or even spiritually in need of raising of the frequency, which is very cool, because we can have emotional blocks that we don't even know where they're coming from. And the approach to holistic medicine is mind, body, spirit, because what the mind believes, the body will eventually become, right? So what we want to do is we want to look, and the scanner will tell us if it's emotional, physical, spiritual, or a combination of any or all of those three. And so I've got these beautiful reference books. A lot of the stuff I just know off the top of my head now, because I've done this for so long, but I can really help people understand. I had scanned a lady today, and some of the oils that she scanned for emotionally all had this common thread about needing to be in control and feeling resentful when she wasn't in control, and just asking her. It's kind of a delicate way to. I have to figure out a delicate way to say to somebody, so are you a complete and total control freak?
Right.
So I kind of tiptoe around that, but that's what she totally admitted, that, yeah, I want to be driving all the time. And I'm like, okay, well, these oils will help you sit in the passenger seat without freaking out about it. And, I resonate to that, because I used to have serious control issues.
And the essential oils help you with that?
Amazing.
So
cypress oil is an example.
So cypress oil?
It is physically, it's kind of the oil of motion and flow. So it's good for blood flow. It's everything. It's good for the lymphatic system, which we want flowing. But emotionally, You know, my daughter and I joke about it. It's our inner control freak oil, because we're a lot alike, and we both struggle with, you know, wanting to drive that bus. And so when we need to, she actually wears it a lot of times on a locket around her neck. And, you know, when she feels like she's struggling with needing to control a situation that she can't control, she just kind of, you know, sniffs her necklace. There, it's amazing, again, because it gets into the brain so fast. It can just quiet that inner control freak trying to fight its way out. So
Man.
Wow.
We didn't talk
amazing.
about inner control. Let's just get into, I mean, because that is interesting, that such an emotional thing that you cannot see, it has its effects. It's like wind, you know, you can see the effects, but you can't really see that.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
the fact that those oils, and specific oils, you know, address issues that, you know, we may not even know that we have. Like you said, sometimes you don't even know that you feel that bad.
Oh, yeah. I scan myself. I try really hard to scan myself once a month just to stay on top of, you know, what's going on in me, because our scan changes, because life affects us every day differently, right? People make us mad or hurt our feelings or disappoint us emotionally. You know, we get exposed to people on airplanes that have colds, and we catch their cold, that kind of thing. So the scanner really can help you get ahead of being full-blown symptomatic.
Okay.
Last week, I felt myself coming down with something. Scanned myself, scanned for antibacterial, antiviral, cleansing oils. I was like, wow, I'm getting sick. And oiled up, did some juicing, drank a lot of water, went to bed early, woke up the next day, felt like $1 million. But what would I have done if I didn't have that ability to scan myself? I would have woken up the next day really sick, so, and had to dig out from that hole. So that is, again, the beauty of having essential oils in your home, is you have these tools to whip out as soon as you feel off. I didn't really need that scanner to tell me I was coming down with something, so I could have used my immune boosting antibacterial oils and had the same effect. I didn't have to have that scanner in my bag to know, you know, because you know when your body's coming down with something.
Right.
So again, just to be able to support that healing part of my body that's there and ready to go to work, I just gave it more weapons to go into battle with, and it won. So that was pretty cool. So again, it never ceases to amaze me, and the reason I got a scanner was because the first time I was scanned, it blew my mind. That it knew what was rattling around in my dark place in my head for the last 30 days that I hadn't said out loud to anyone. And
Scary.
it was really, like, I started laughing when she gave me the page from the reference book that coincided with fennel oil, which is the oil that I scanned for. And it was just all about, I was in a very self-loathing place. And it just called me straight out. And I started laughing, and I did what she said. I used it. She said, use it for 30 days, see how you feel. I'll scan you again. I knew within 2 weeks that
It was a
it was
difference.
gone. Those
Wow.
thoughts were not in my head. But what I really noticed that amazed me was how much more energy I had. Because carrying around those negative, horrible thoughts about myself that weren't rational was exhausting.
Right.
Yeah. I think so many people are going through that. You know, with social media and reality.
Comparisonitis.
That's a good one. Comparisonitis.
I have an oil for that.
Right. We have a true issue.
Yeah.
So, never thought about it. Controlling your thought process.
Yeah, because your negative thoughts make you sick physically.
Right. And then, you know, social media does not help people who have self-esteem issues, because you post things and you do things seeking validation from somebody. So if they don't like your post or whatever, then you internalize it as that they didn't like you, or whatever situation be, and then makes your insecurities go worse than it really is. So they would really need something like that to really block the negative thoughts they have about themselves.
And to just clear it. You can clear that stuff out of you so easily because, you know, you're going to be around people who are low energy, low frequency, toxic, negative, or you're going to start doing that to yourself because you're comparing things. And again, that's what I love about oils is you can just purge that right out of you before it imprints on your DNA and has real health effects on you. Because it's like trauma, you know. I had some childhood trauma issues, and I went through years, decades actually, of therapy to resolve those issues. But when I got my first scan, there was a tiny little biomarker. It was my lowest one, which kind of meant it was my deepest rooted, longest running, which meant, yeah, emotionally I had resolved myself from those issues, but it was imprinted on my DNA. And until I used an oil to help myself clear that from me, you know, it may have reared its ugly head again one day. I have no idea. We don't know why things trigger us, right?
Right.
I mean, sometimes the silliest, littlest things can trigger an abandonment issue or something like that. So that's where oils are just, they fascinate me.
We
They
didn't put childhood
really do.
issues on there either. I mean, it is so, because of the higher frequency that the oils are. And I think, do you know the highest healthy frequency for a human being? So I think it's around 58 or something.
I don't know the exact numbers, but yeah.
So we want to do things with higher frequencies
Right.
so that we can vibrate higher.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And oils have a very high frequency, so they can literally raise your vibration within seconds. You know, put some citrus oil in your hands and smell it, and I dare you to be in a bad mood. You can't be. You're literally just like, it's like liquid sunshine. It's like you've walked into a citrus grove. It makes you so happy.
Really?
And yeah.
So, okay, I'm gonna go back to you being certified as an essential oil coach. How? Because a lot of times I've met people with, you know, who are coaches through doTERRA and all the other ones, and they call themselves a coach, which they may be, but what's the difference between being taught through doTERRA and like Young Living, and then going through the program you went through? How much more important was that for you?
I think it's vastly important because I deal again with people who are fragile. Plus, I just don't want to give people bad information. So what you get out of the certification course is you get much deeper safety training. I mean, doTERRA puts a little bit of safety information, you know, about which ones are hot and which ones you should use internally and which ones you shouldn't and things like that. But again, if you have a liver condition of any kind, whether it's cirrhosis, fatty liver, liver cancer, you should never ingest an essential oil, according to my coursework. And I agree with that, in my opinion. So, you know, a liver that is diseased or struggling in any way, you just shouldn't give it any more work to do than it needs to do. And when you take an oil internally, your liver has to metabolize that, just like, you know, everything else we take internally. So you can get such a similar result from topical application. And I'm big on dilution too. So that's all in my safety training. My safety training is the most vast and comprehensive safety training of any essential oils program. So I know that whether it is a newborn baby or somebody with a terrible disease, I am never going to tell them to overwhelm their body with an essential oil. And I think that is important because a lot of people just do this as a side gig, and you know, they just want you to buy more oil. So they're going to tell you use a lot of it, and I'm going to tell you that less is more. And how to make your oil go further, and how to safely use it on your children, and what to do if you, like, I always ask people for the medications they're taking, because there are some medications that will have contraindications with essential oils. For example, if you are on any kind of blood thinning medication, you should not use frankincense oil. It's got a little bit of blood thinning property to it. So if you have a clotting disorder, frankincense is great, but if you're on heparin, you could bleed out by using too much frankincense oil. So, you know, you have, in my opinion, you want to work with somebody that knows that. You want to work with somebody who understands, you know, not just well, peppermint's good for a headache, but here's why.
Right.
Or, you know, whatever the system of the body that you're trying to support, I can help you feel comfortable about doing that. And I can I even consult with people's doctors that want me to do that, because doctors are coming around and they're starting to figure this stuff out. And I've got a meeting in a couple weeks with a pediatrician, because he's realized that a lot of the over-the-counter meds or protocols that he suggests, like Aquaphor, it's no good anymore. It's got petroleum in it, and we're learning that the body can't metabolize that. So I'm trying to help him learn not just about essential oils, but coconut oil that you get at the grocery store. Organic, unrefined coconut oil has so many health benefits to it. So that's just, again, part of what I try to do is educate.
Okay. I like that. You got any questions for me?
Well, I wanted to get into, just some more things. I know we were going to talk about ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
And what, how can essential oils help ADHD? How would you deal with, what I'm saying, someone with ADHD? Do you see that? Can the scanner pick that up?
I see a lot of people with focus issues. And again, if you bring me a clinical diagnosis, I can work within that, but I don't diagnose, obviously. And I don't really treat illnesses to the point of, like a doctor does. But I have a lot of moms and grandmas come to me and say, I'll just tell you a recent story. My 7-year-old granddaughter was just diagnosed with ADD and depression, and they want to put her on 2 meds.
7?
7. Mm-hmm. And she said, I don't want to do that, but she can't pay attention in school. She's not sleeping well at night, so she's ornery in the morning, and she's doing terribly on her tests. And so I gave her 2 oil blends to try, because she just wanted to try something first, and that's what I always recommend. I'm not saying that I am a replacement for all medications. There is a place for regular prescription medication. I had to take a steroid for a back injury 2 years ago, and as much as I didn't want to do it, I was really sad on the last day because it helped. I was in terrible pain, but I herniated a disc in my back. An oil wasn't going to fix that.
Right.
I could support a lot of the peripheral symptoms from that, but so there is a place for that medicine. But this woman said to me, I don't want to go there first. And I love it when people come to me and say that, like, here's where I am, here's where they want me to go, but I want to try something natural first, and then if something natural doesn't work, then I'll take their medication with the list of side effects this long. So we gave her an oil blend to use at night to help her calm down and go to sleep. That actually has vetiver in it, which has been clinically proven to help people with focus issues. Expressly, there was a doctor that had a focus group, an MD had a focus group where he took children with ADHD, and all he had them do is inhale vetiver oil 3 times a day for 30 days, and he saw vast differences in their focus and in their test scores even. So this blend that I gave this grandmother to use on her granddaughter at night had vetiver in it. It had some other calming oils, and then we gave her a blend called Cheer, which is just an uplifting blend. It's a combination of spices and mints and citrus. And the next time I saw her, 2 weeks later, I said, how's your granddaughter? She said, oh, she's getting 90s and 100s on all of her tests. She's sleeping great. She's happy. Like, gave me a big hug. So happy.
And just again, that small amount of time.
Yeah. I know a friend of mine, the nurse I was telling about, her nephew has ADHD really bad. And she was like you, or like the lady, she did not want to put them on any kind of medication. So that's what she did the research about doTERRA, and she ended up probably put the same blends that you told me about. And the kids can't live without their diffuser. They use the diffuser like every day. Even if they go to visit their father, they take the diffuser with her because it keeps him focused, and he can tell the difference.
Yeah.
He's doing excellent in school and all that kind of stuff. So it really, really works for them.
Yeah.
And so it's like we're not trying to say you don't have to take the medication, but there's sometimes things that you could do that may prevent you from taking it right away.
Absolutely. And I had a guy that came to me and said, my blood sugar's creeping up. I don't want to go on diabetes medicine, but that's where I'm headed. So what can I do? And cinnamon oil supports the pancreas.
Right.
So we put him because he has no liver issues, we put him on a protocol of 1 to 2 drops 2 times a day. He did that for 30 days, and his blood sugar's perfectly normal. And all we did, we didn't do anything but support his pancreas. His pancreas was, for some reason, and he eats well and exercises, he's in great shape, so there was just a little imbalance in that part of the body, and it's just really cool to watch that.
So what would you say with someone who is diabetic, but they don't eat well like your client did? They does not eat well, they're overweight, but they want to get off the medication. What would you recommend?
You gotta eat well. I mean, that's the first thing, and exercise. And we can support the systems of the body, but if you're polluting the body, it's not going to do much good. It is a wellness wheel. You've got essential oils aren't the magic pill.
Right.
There is no magic pill, in my opinion. Like, I believe in a wellness wheel of eating right.
Yep.
Exercise.
Water,
chiropractic, essential oils, herbs, supplements. I'm big on supplements because I think our food source has been destroyed.
Right.
The carrot of today is not the carrot of 1950 from a nutritional standpoint. And our soil's been depleted. The GMO garbage is killing us. It's making us, it's why as a nation we are obese. We can't digest this stuff that's not food.
Right.
It's food-like products. Our body doesn't know what to do with it, so it sends it immediately into fat. It can't nourish you with it, so it's got to do something with it, so it sends it into your fat cells, and that's what happens. So, but yeah, somebody that's been told they're diabetic, and I had a friend like that years ago, and he still wanted to eat bologna sandwiches on Sunbeam white bread, and I'm like, then you're gonna die. They don't know what to tell you. This was when he was laying in the hospital because he literally couldn't see his blood sugar had gotten so high. He couldn't read the signs in the grocery store aisles. So yeah, you gotta, and I am a certified nutritional coach as well, so I can coach for disease management. And that's the long and the short of it. If I didn't quit eating processed foods in the early 2000s, I don't know who I'd be today.
Right.
I wouldn't be healthy and vibrant and running around the tennis court 5 days a week like I do now.
So, with that, how did you change your mindset when you had to make that transition from stop eating processed foods to eating more cleaner?
For me, it was a very extreme diagnosis. I had food allergy tests, and I was allergic to everything because my body was, like I said, polluted. With fake fragrances, petroleum products that, I thought were making my skin pretty, Fabuloso, Febreze, Glade plugins in every room. I was literally poisoning myself with that stuff. And so food sensitivities came along with that. And when you continue to eat foods that you're sensitive to or allergic to, it just creates this like ripple effect, and you just get more and more and more sensitive. So when they finally diagnosed my food allergies, there were 5 things in the whole world I could eat. And so I didn't have a choice. I had candida overgrowth so bad in my gut. Do you know what that is?
I do, but for those who don't.
Yeah, candida overgrowth in the gut is, your gut is in a constant battle of good versus evil. And when evil is winning, that's candida overgrowth. And so my candida overgrowth was so extreme, he could see it in my nostrils. So it was coming up my gut, up my esophagus, up the back of my throat, and he could see it in my nose. And that's why I was so sick. And that's why I had all the sensitivities. I mean, just, and again, about 80% of your immune system comes from your gut. My gut was trashed. your serotonin levels. You know, they're linking, they're calling
Right.
the gut the second brain now, because your serotonin levels, the majority of them come from your gut. So, yeah, no wonder I was depressed, anxious, all these things, because, you know, my gut was swimming in yeast, basically. So I didn't have a choice. I had to. He told me I can no longer have chlorinated water because that kills off good gut bacteria instantly. So I had to become a total water snob, which is hard to do. Yeah, because you know, think about going out to eat. Everything at that restaurant has, you know, chlorinated water in it. So I wanted to get well, and I wanted to eat food and enjoy life again. When he took beer and wine away from me because, you know, sugar and fermented, you know, I couldn't have mushrooms, I couldn't have carbs. I went in total carb withdrawal. That was like literally, that's when I really understood addiction. And it doesn't matter if it's heroin or bread.
Yeah.
Addiction is addiction.
Right.
I was about to say, that sounds, I mean, it sounds
Extreme.
painful.
It was extreme, and I remember saying to him, I wish you were not on the second floor. I wish you were on like the 20th floor of a building. I'd probably jump out the window right now, because he said no to everything, you know, other than turkey breast and some whitefish and sweet potatoes, and I can't even remember the other two things because I've blocked it out because it was totally traumatic. But I ate like that for 6 months, and then he retested me, and a lot of the sensitivities had gone away. But I knew within 5 minutes of eating something whether I could eat it or not. After about a year, you know, I was eating more like a normal person, and now I have no food allergies. I had skin allergies, a fatal bee allergy. You couldn't touch me with a latex glove without my face just blowing up. Went and got my teeth cleaned, and it looked like I had a chemical burn where the doctor had rested the butt of his hand while he was cleaning my teeth from the latex glove. I mean, my body was screaming for help. So it makes me a really empathetic health coach.
So what oils did you use during that process to help you get better?
The first one that really blew my mind in a good way was the Digest Zen blend, because all of that erosion that I had created with that candida for years and years, I had heartburn that was just debilitating. So what I noticed about the Digest Zen oil, I was looking for a replacement for the Rolaids and the Tums and the Zantac and the Prilosec, which I've since learned is just horrible for your liver and kidneys. Mm-hmm. But I noticed that the more I used it, the less I needed it, and I had to figure out why that was. And the short answer to that is that it was healing the erosion. It was, you know, it's so anti-inflammatory in property that's why you feel the relief instantly. Mm-hmm. It just kind of calms everything down. It's got ginger and peppermint and fennel and anise, and you know, it smells like black licorice.
Mm-hmm. So do you put that on topical, or did you put it? No.
I personally ingest it because I don't anymore because I don't need to. But when I did, my discomfort was upper. Mm-hmm. So I would put a couple drops in an ounce of water and, you know, take it like a shot, and it just instantly feels better. But when I've had lower GI, I'll rub it on topically, and it is instant. I mean, I had food poisoning. I ate some bad fish up in the mountains a couple of summers ago, and just woke up in the middle of the night with horrible food poisoning symptoms and just was in so much pain. So I let everything work its way out, which was pretty quick, and then I just rubbed it on because the cramping, which is what was killing me. Mm-hmm. And I probably used way too much, but the good news with oils is that really can't hurt you, especially topically. Mm-hmm. So I sprinkled probably about 10 oils in desperation and rubbed it in a circular motion where I was in just unbelievable pain. And within 5 minutes, I was back to sleep. I mean, it was amazing. This stuff never ceases to amaze me. And again, I've been using the doTERRA oils for probably 5 years, and they blow me away. Okay. So, yeah.
So what else? I wanted to talk about traffic, because so many of us are dealing with this.
Traffic?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I see it. People are on edge.
Oh, yeah.
On edge. So what are some oils that can help us just chill out while we all sit in it? right? Like, and it's just, I mean, it is.
My number one answer is, what you would imagine it would be is lavender. But there's a reason for that. Lavender oil, the chemical compounds and how they affect the brain interrupt your body's cortisol release. So cortisol is our stress hormone. And I always say cortisol is great if you're getting mugged out in the parking lot because it'll make you stronger, faster, sharper. But a release of cortisol from traffic will just put you in a situation where you're creating inflammation in the body. Excess cortisol creates belly fat, nothing we want.
Right.
Aches, pains, inflammation, belly fat, no thanks. None of the above. So, but if we inhale lavender, you can just inhale it from your hands. I've seen a couple really cool hacks, like get a wooden clothespin and drip it on there and clip it to your vent in your car. I have a car diffuser.
Do you?
That I got from a doTERRA promotion last month. Yeah, it's awesome. It really fills the whole car with aroma.
So
it's amazing.
So that's better than buying those.
The ones you, I took mine back. I didn't like it. We're talking about the ones you stick in the cigarette lighter. And
Did yours have water or not?
No, it needs water though.
Okay.
We-
See, I've
we
seen
need to-
the
we need to
ones
talk
that have
about
like
that.
the little water bulbs with and I'm like, why would you stick water anywhere that could leak out and go into your cigarette lighter? That sounds like about a $300 repair at the car shop for me. I don't know.
Right,
Just
right.
seems weird to me, but I have one like it fits in my cup holder and it's got water and I add drops to it. But in the summer, when you're fighting humidity, I've got one that's a little atomizer, so that one doesn't have water. So I've just kind of switched out to the I want to breathe more water this time of year because the the heat and everything.
Right.
That's just good for the airways. But I'll hook you up.
Wait a minute. So let's talk about like different ways of how you can use essentials. Like we're talking about diffusers. People who are unfamiliar with these terms, the types of diffusers that you can use.
Yeah, a diffuser is just a cool mist, water-based. Looks like a little baby vaporizer, basically. But, vaporizer usually is heat, and we don't want to put heat on essential oils because it will kill the health benefits. It will not make them rancid or bad for you. They'll still smell great, but I don't want to just smell great. I want, when I got eucalyptus going, I want the immune boosting properties, not just the opening my airways. So if I put that in a cool mist diffuser, it will retain its health benefits. So it just kind of percolates the water, and you can sometimes hear them bubbling a little bit, and it just emits a mist that has the molecules in it that kind of stay aloft in the air and get carried down or blow around in the room as the HVAC system comes on or as people walk around. And it just allows you to have a constant delivery of aromatic benefits of essential oils. So that's my favorite way as a health coach to get you using oils, because you have to breathe 16 times a minute. So, and it's a great way to give them to kids or cranky boyfriends that don't even know you're doing it. He's got to breathe. So, and then obviously you can just put them in your hand and inhale them. If I'm somewhere where I don't bring a diffuser, like a hotel room, I can sprinkle them right on my pillowcase and get that aromatherapy all night. You can put them on your wrists. If you like, I lay with my hands kind of near my face, so I'll put them on my wrists before bed or on my hands, just to kind of get there. You can. I put them on my. I'm losing the word because it's late. I'm tired. Furnace filters.
Okay.
So I'll sprinkle some citrus oils or some lemongrass or something on the furnace filter before I put it in when I change them out. And it just sucks all that into the whole system.
That's a great idea.
Citrus oils kill mold. So they've got mold killing properties. So On Guard has mold killing properties. So you're sucking that into your whole house, even into those far running runs of your HVAC system, and you're killing mold spores in there. So again, it's just so much more than fragrance. But
wow. So what are some more? You can put them on your hand, and you were talking about diluting oils. You cannot dilute oils with water.
You can. So like, my neck hurts from playing too much tennis, so I'll put some anti-inflammatory oils on there, and I'll put a hot water compress on there, and it forces the oils deep. So you can use you can use water with oils, but you're going to intensify and deepen the effectiveness of the oil. So if you put an oil on, like oregano, it should be diluted. If it's warm to the skin, you want to dilute it more with a carrier oil, coconut oil, olive oil, jojoba, shea butter, lip balm, whatever you got handy. A lot of times, like, I'll pull an oil out and smell it, touch it to the tip of my nose. Well, if it's on guard and it's got a little cinnamon in it, ooh, that gets a little hot. So I'll just take my lip balm and, kind of put the fire out with that. So you can dilute an oil, and it doesn't mean like when you add water to your iced tea, it's not diluting it like that. It's just making it more acceptable for any skin type, or it helps it carry it over a larger area. So if my lower back hurts, I'm not going to use a lot of oil to cover that whole lower back. I'm going to mix it in some coconut oil, and I'm going to rub it because it's going to go further, and it's still going to have all the pain relieving benefits that I want, just carried further. So that's why it's called a carrier oil. And I use the word dilution, and I always try to explain that because you're not diluting the efficacy of the oil. It is still doing everything you want it to do.
So for those who's interested in essential oils, what would be like the major oils that they need to have on hand?
I teach pretty much every class I teach. I talk about the top 10 oils because if you have these top 10 oils in your house and you wake up, no matter what it is that's happened, whether it's an accident, an illness, a food poisoning, an injury, whatever, you can send me a text message and say, what do I do? And I can direct you to a combination or 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 oils in that 10 oil set, and give you something that you can immediately put to use. So I'm big on preparing because, I read this quote somewhere, if you aren't prepared for everything, you aren't prepared for anything. And that's true when it comes to oils, because I can, she came to one of my classes at a chiropractic office, and, it's great that she had the information, but if she didn't get those 10 oils and she woke up with a sore throat, she can't take the email I sent her and soothe her throat with that paper email. She's got to have those products on hand. So the top 10 oils are the top 10 for a reason, and they do come in a cute little box, right? You got the small kit, right? And again, it just prepares you for whatever comes along. And I'm very hands-on. I don't sell you a kit and leave your life. I answer questions all the time. It's one of the things I pride myself on the most is my heart and my response rate. If you send me a text message and say, my 5-year-old fell and bonked his head, what oils do I use? While he's screaming, I'm going to answer you unless I'm teaching a class or on a TV show or or sleeping. So, and then people learn how to use them, and it becomes muscle memory. The more you use them, the more you feel comfortable. But it was overwhelming to me, so it's very important for me to hold your hand. I give you an app. I give you some other resources, but mainly you have me. So, and I think immune boosting is huge this time of year. That little kit, there's 5 of the 10 oils in there will boost the heck out of your immune system. They'll knock whatever you got out of you within a day or two, because it's just going to fortify your system to heal whatever you're struggling with. There's stuff in there for injuries, and there's anti-inflammatory. There's, if you get a concussion, there's an oil in there that will decrease the inflammation in your brain. I mean, it's an amazing little set, but you don't have to start that way, and I'll work with you however you can. I mean, a lot of times I'll scan people in an appointment and they want to just buy their scan oils, and that's absolutely fine too. It just depends on what you want to do, what you want to work on, what's important to you. Do you have kids? Do you not have kids? doTERRA just came out with a couple months ago a great little kids kit. It's 6 blends that were actually designed for kids. They're not grown-up oils diluted for kids. They're different formulas, and they're amazing. And they went the holistic approach of there's 2 for the mind, 2 for the body, 2 for the spirit. I think it's amazing to teach our kids from 3 years old, how to empower themselves like that. One of the blends is called Brave, and it is, a blend to give you courage. And I think even if it is the placebo effect, which I know it's not because I've studied the chemical compounds, I know they are things that can inspire confidence in the human brain. But even if it is the placebo effect, we've taught that little one to not have social anxiety or test anxiety or whatever. And so then maybe they won't self-medicate when they get to college, like, people I know have drug and alcohol problems as an adult. So it's really overwhelming in such a beautiful way to realize that we are changing the world one drop of oil at a time, as corny as that sounds.
Wow.
Brave blend.
Brave.
I
need to be brave sometimes.
Right, yeah, no, we all
Yeah.
need to be brave. I know they have an emotional kit as well
They do.
for women.
Mhm.
That I think I'm going to probably get into next, but they have things that uplift,
Absolutely.
that deal with traumatic issues, traumatic emotions, really. And so I think that kit also, it's just specifically for women. The women's blend.
I don't think it's specifically for women, but I think as women, we are more emotional creatures. Let's just put it that way. The oils in that kit are called Peace, Cheer, Console. Who doesn't need to be consoled every now and then, right?
Right.
Forgive. Everyone has someone to forgive. Passion, not the bedroom kind of passion, but just the kind of zest for life. What do I want to be when I grow up? I have a sister. She just turned 69. She retired from her corporate job, and she scanned for passion. And I said, maybe that's because you're not happy at your little part-time gig at the sewing store. And so she started a business where she teaches little girls how to sew, and she's thrilled. So, but literally, I think that oil, I always remind her, wink, wink, hey, don't forget why Nettie's Needles exists. Because that passion blend you scan for. But seriously, she, I think she didn't even realize that she was unfulfilled until the scanner pointed it out to her. So cheer, peace, forgive, passion, console. There's one more that I can't think
Is it
of.
calming?
No, that's in the kids blend.
Okay.
It'll come to me. So
But and so that's what you get with you get specific blends for specific emotional, physical
And
issues.
speaking of women, there is a blend that balances our hormones. Because again, those fake fragrances are all estrogen mimickers, and they are taking our normal, healthy hormonal balance, and they're just making it crazy.
So
And
all the Tide, the Gains, people. Someone told me I want to smell my laundry, and I was like, that is junk.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have to get out of that. We have to get out of something has to smell like bleach in order for us to think that it's clean. We have to get out of the commercialized
Programming.
Yeah, programming, absolutely. About scents. I know a lot of people don't feel it has to smell like chlorine in order for people to feel safe to get into the tub and things of this nature, or the Febreze things.
I refer to myself as the former fake fragrance queen, because if it had a fake fragrance, it was in my house, and I made myself sick, and I made my daughter sick. My daughter is 30. She's probably only 2 to 3 years recovered from all those hormonal imbalances I gave her by polluting her home, her whole childhood. I feel terrible, but I thought I was a good mom if my house smelled like the Yankee Candle Store.
Right.
And I wasn't a good mom. I don't beat myself up over it because I didn't know.
Right.
And we don't know. And, I had a woman who came to me that she was having terrible hot flashes. Way too young to be having terrible hot flashes. And that, again, is just a body screaming for hormonal balance. And so she was willing to get all of the fake fragrances out of her life except her cologne. And I said, then you're going to have hot flashes. I don't know what to tell you. Even the really expensive colognes have been chemically altered. Coco Chanel in, the 40s realized that those essences and absolutes didn't last as long on the female body until she made the chemical equivalent. So that was kind of the beginning of the end for us, because that's when it all just turned into poison.
Wow.
Wow. So, wow. So,
No more fragrance.
right. So
I know, but
And
you
it's
can
such a
fragrance
huge-
everything beautifully. Like, I'm in a group, one of those referral groups on Facebook, like, where do I get my hair cut? Where do I take my dog to be groomed? And this lady was commenting about she bought a fake Christmas tree this year, and she really wanted a candle to fragrance her home to smell like a Christmas tree. And I'm like, no, don't do that, because there really aren't any healthy candles.
Right.
Candles will make you sick. Fake fragrances make you sick, period. They give you weight issues. Because you're breathing in these toxins, you're affecting your thyroid, you're screwing up your metabolism, you're unbalancing your hormones. These, when your liver is trying to process all this, it's just shooting this stuff into your fat cells. And your fat cells start piling on to protect your organs. So, again, you can burn those candles. My ex-husband used to joke, I had more candles burning in my house than Nicole Brown Simpson. Remember that story about the night she died?
Wow.
She had candles burning everywhere. That was me. I had candles, everything. If I can get away from fake fragrances, anybody can. I literally had a plug-in in every room, in my home and in my office. Every room. And that stuff's expensive.
It is.
And we're killing our pets with it, too, by the way. I just found a video, and then apparently, I've not seen it, but there's a Netflix documentary called Stink, and it's on this whole topic. A friend of mine just texted me. She's actually the award-winning filmmaker that does my webinars, Sarah Spicer of Spicer Productions. Giving her a plug. She's awesome. But she texted me last night. She said, watch this documentary as soon as you get a chance, because it's everything you talk about fake fragrances. And half the time, women think I'm outside of my mind when I tell them, you got to put that stuff away. It's killing you. So, but again, I am 55 years old. I am, according to my blood work, in full-blown menopause. I have 0 symptoms. I don't have night sweats, hot flashes, mood swings, weight gain, none of it. So, it's not a part of aging.
So, what about? I know somebody who put the lemon essential oil in their water. Do you recommend that compared to actually putting the actual lemon in there?
Yes, because again, it's just so much more concentrated. A drop or two of lemon oil would, be pounds and pounds of the rind. The lemon oil comes from the skin,
Right.
not the flesh. It is very alkalizing. It's very cleansing. It's good for digestion. You never want to put citrus oils in a plastic vessel to drink out of, because what they're doing to our body is pulling the petrochemicals out of the body, which we're full of because of mineral oil and petrolatum and petroleum that we've put all over ourselves unknowingly. The average woman over the age of 40 has 2.2 pounds of undigested and unmetabolized petroleum byproducts in her fat. Isn't that disgusting? Go home and hold 2 pounds of ground beef and realize how much that is. That's why I'm holding my hands like this. I'm thinking about 2.2 pounds.
All
so
coming from the fragrances?
No, from petroleum byproducts.
It's like Vaseline.
Vaseline, Aquaphor, Neosporin, anything that you look at that says mineral oil, petrolatum, or petroleum is basically just going straight into your fat cells when you put it on it's making you fat, yeah. So the lemon oil will help flush all that out, break down those petrochemicals so that your body can process them. So if you put it in plastic, it's just going to pull the plastic into the water that you're drinking, and you don't want that.
Okay.
So glass or steel, but yeah, a drop or two of really any of the citrus oils. I love grapefruit oil in my water. It's really cleansing. That's good for detoxifying. Also good. That's a good one for women. Just a hormonal balancer.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, frankincense.
Yeah.
Can you? I heard about that one. Like, it's all like you said, referencing the Bible. And
Sure.
all that stuff. Why is that essential oil so important? And what does it help?
It really helps so many things that we kind of joke when you aren't sure which oil to use. Get frankincense out. When in doubt, get your frankincense out. As corny as that is, yeah. But it is mainly what I love about it is it's good for anti-aging. So women can use it in their moisturizer, in their petrolatum-free moisturizer, just one drop, and put that on the skin, and it's got a lot of anti-aging properties. That's one of the things that made me so mad when, I started waking up about all this was I used to go to the department store and spend hundreds of dollars on that expensive department store stuff that not only is not really anti-aging but actually has chemical preservatives in it so that it lasts longer on the shelf. That's actually damaging your DNA and aging you. So you're paying all that money to look older, basically. So frankincense is great for anti-aging. So it is the best brain oil. It supports the brain better than anything. So if you have a desire to age without being as forgetful as we've seen our grandparents become, you can support the brain with frankincense. It is the best brain injury oil. So if you have a concussion, a stroke, an aneurysm, anything like that, it will help the brain to heal, again, just by supporting the brain. I believe that's why they brought it to the baby Jesus, because birth is traumatic on a small baby's skull, and a lot of times babies can have seizures from the birthing process. So back in that time, they used to anoint all babies with frankincense oil on their head, and I think a lot of that was for medicinal purposes. I used it after a car wreck for a concussion very successfully. It's good for a headache. It's immune boosting. It actually helps. If you go to pubmed.gov, you can read hundreds of articles on frankincense killing cancer cells. So,
I heard of that.
Yeah, and that is, again, pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov. If you, in their little internal search window, little magnifying glass block, if you type the word frankincense essential oil, it will fill the page with how people have done studies. It kills breast cancer cells. It kills pancreatic cancer cells. I have a friend, she's actually my doTERRA upline, a couple lines up, Allison Hewish. She was in The Truth About Cancer. She used frankincense oil on her inoperable brainstem tumor that was malignant. She is totally cancer-free, and that was more than 15 years ago. So if you've not seen that documentary, she's in episode 2. It's powerful. It's the same
What's
episode,
the name of it?
The Truth About Cancer.
The Truth About Cancer.
It's the same episode where Dr. Josh Axe talks about curing his mother's breast cancer. The second time she got it with essential oils.
Really?
So, I use it. My mother, she passed away this year, but she had breast cancer in her early 70s. She lived to be 96. She did not die from the breast cancer, but I'm very hypervigilant about breast health, so I put some in-body lotion with some myrrh and a couple other oils that have been clinically proven for breast health, and I just apply that topically. I try to do it every day. I don't remember to do it every day, but I do it a lot, just as a preventative. It's always easier to prevent something than it is cure it, right? So I actually had a breast mass about 4 years ago that was picked up on a mammogram, which I don't get anymore. I just do thermography now, but I was able to it wasn't cancer. I was told it wasn't cancer, but it would probably become cancer because it was abnormal cell growth, so they wanted to keep a close eye on it. And I actually was able to clear that completely out of my body with frankincense and lemongrass oil. I knew where it was because they drew on me with a Sharpie when I was at the because they made me get an ultrasound after they found it on a mammogram. And so I knew exactly where it was, so I put a drop of each one of those oils, and I mixed it in my finger and rubbed it on there every day. And when I went back for the thermography 6 months later, there was absolutely nothing. It was gone, totally gone. So,
Wow.
yeah, frankincense oil is amazing. It's great for inflammation, so if you have anything that hurts, you can rub some frankincense oil on it, decrease the inflammation. Again, that cortisol that's pumping through us is causing inflammation. You can put a drop of doTERRA frankincense oil under your tongue every day as just a natural way to support new healthy cell growth. We're always turning over new cells. We want healthy new cells, not sick new cells. So, because the cells create and then they split, cell mitosis, right? So we want to give those cells the best chance they have when they're being created. And so systemically getting it into the bloodstream under the tongue, it's just a really great way to boost your overall health. So I love it. It's calming. It helps you sleep. It helps you focus. It's very high frequency, so it does uplift your mood. It's good for people that are depressed. It really is good for everything. So many things at least. But yeah, and I always say if it was good enough for the baby Jesus, it's good enough for you.
Right. So what are some things tea tree oil? Melaleuca.
Tea tree is Melaleuca, yeah. It's very drying, so that's good if you're if you got some fluid in the ear canal, you can rub it behind the ear to dry out the fluid that maybe you've been on an airplane. Keep going back to your airplane trip. It's good for kids. Kids with chronic ear infections, you can kind of dry up that eustachian tube. I call it my zit zapper. If you feel that pimple starting to come, you can put a drop of it, just dab a drop. It's good for cold sores or canker sores in the mouth. My favorite thing to do with Melaleuca oil is if I get that scratchy viral throat that I feel like is coming on where I'm going to get sick, I put a couple drops of Melaleuca and some pink Himalayan sea salt and just make a hot water gargle with that. Oh. It just really wipes that right out.
Okay.
Really great for anything fungal, toenail fungus. It's good for if people who get chronic urinary tract infections, they can rub it on their lower abdomen just to kind of keep everything clean. It's very, very cleansing. It smells incredibly cleansing, like an industrial cleaner. It's not one of my favorite smells, but you can put a couple drops in your shampoo in the winter if you start to get dry scalp. It's really good for that. My daughter has really thick, long black hair, and when she would wash her hair at night and sleep on a wet head, she would literally get her scalp couldn't breathe, so she'd get a little bit of flaky dry scalp from fungus, basically, which is a lot of times dandruff is fungus. So she just started putting a couple drops in her shampoo and stopped showering before bed and doesn't do that anymore. So
really,
It's really effective. Just a couple drops in a whole bottle of shampoo can really, and it's good for doing that too for school-age kids because it's a deterrent for head lice and any kind of critters. So. Yeah, it's good for a lot of things. It's also immune boosting, so it's in my recipe for boosting the immune system. I call it my super duper immune booster because it's just so good at knocking out whatever you got, like what you have, or fighting something off, or just preparing yourself. If I'm gonna get on an airplane, I use it first. It's frankincense, lemon, oregano, On Guard, and Melaleuca. So again,
that's a serious combination.
It is, yeah. But again, whether it's bacterial, viral, whatever, I put it on the bottoms of my feet. You can rub it up and down the spine on children. I like to rub it around the base of my neck, where your lymph nodes are, just to kind of keep them clean and supported. I have a little skin tag that blend made go away too. I think it was the oregano oil.
Yeah,
I had a skin tag for years, and then all of a sudden I noticed, oh my gosh, it's gone. And so I did some research and realized it was just that little crud busting blend or immune boosting blend that literally made my skin tag go away. I was like, well, that's cool.
Wow. So many benefits that you're not even expecting.
Yeah.
That you get with these oils. I have clary sage. It is a very interesting smell.
Yeah.
But it does make you feel better.
Yeah. It's great for hormonal balancing. It'll help you go to sleep sooner. It's an oil you don't want to use if you're pregnant because it can actually cause you to go into labor. But, my good friend who's getting ready to have a baby is packing her baby bag, and she put the clary sage in there because if labor starts to slow down, it'll speed it back up. It can help speed it back up. Yeah, you rub it on the inside of the ankles where the reflexology points are for, that sort of thing. So, yeah. Nothing worse than trying to have that baby and it doesn't want to come out. But
is that only for babies? It doesn't help anything else come out?
No. Okay. Nothing I know of.
So what
are we talking about natural daily body functions? Because I got all kinds of tips on that too.
We'll talk about that later. So what about some other things that may help women with their hormonal balances?
There's a blend called Clary Calm, which has clary sage in it, and another handful of oils like lavender and carrot seed oil and things like that. It's just all things hormonally balancing. So whether you are 10 years old or 100 years old, all women really do need that Clary Calm. The first time I went into night sweats, I woke up the next morning and I said, that is never happening again. And I went and did my research and found Clary Calm. Actually had it in a kit I had bought, didn't realize it, used it, never got night sweats again. Used it for probably every night before bed. It's got some Roman chamomile in it and lavender, like I said, so it's actually good to use at bedtime because it will help you sleep. But I used it before bed, and then I used it every day right before I got dressed. Was the last thing I did before I got dressed, and did that for about a year, and then just forgot. Just got out of the habit and forgot I didn't have it or something. And about a month later, panicked, like, oh my gosh, I don't have my Clary Calm. And then I realized, oh, I don't need it. But again, that the more you use it, the less you'll need it, kind of thing.
Right.
So that's again something I always coach people to do when they start using oils is, don't be shy. Because the more you use them, the quicker we'll get you to a point where you're not going to need them as much, if at all. So, yes.
And that's also a good thing to hear, because you think when you're on these medications, you're on them for the rest of your life, and it is nothing more depressing than to hear someone say, "I have to take this for the rest of my life," and it's just like, are there any other options?
I do have a question for you. It's not. It could be part of essential oils, but since you also a health coach like myself, and I got it because it was something you said, I just took me to another level. Like 75% of us are constipated. What would be your recommendation?
And my number one for that is magnesium. I take Natural Calm every night before I go to bed. Again, I lead a very active lifestyle, so I do have like muscle soreness, and it's good for that. It does help me sleep, and it makes you amazingly regular. I have had a couple people reach out to me with that same issue. Now, there are oils that will help with digestion. Digestion, again, whether you can't go or whether you go too much, it just kind of brings that zen state of, into your digestive tract. So I do love it for that, but my number one suggestion is that Natural Calm product. You can take up to 2 teaspoons a night. You start at half a teaspoon and you work your way up to 2 teaspoons. And they say to, you're where you're supposed to be right before your stool gets loose. And so I've had a lot of people that have had really, years and years of chronic constipation, and that's so toxic. It's so bad for you.
That stuff will kill you.
So clear that stuff out.
And the crazy part about it is when you talk to them, they feel that that's just how their body works. So they feel that, if I go to the bathroom once a week, that's just how my body is. And they did. And
no.
Or
at minimum, you need to go once a day. If you are not going once a day, you need to look at your fiber intake, your water intake. I definitely suggest magnesium, like a Natural Calm product, and then an oil.
So that Natural Calm product, that's that oil, or is that like
No, it's it comes in a jar. It's a powder. You just mix it with water. It kind of tastes like lemonade.
And it's so
you get at the grocery store.
Oh.
I get mine on Amazon because it's a little less expensive, and it's a bigger bottle on Amazon than you get at the grocery store. But no, that stuff's a miracle worker, and it just helps you get a great night's sleep. And the oils help with that too. But the more you have going on in your day, and the more stressed out you are, and the more you're thinking about what you got to do tomorrow, the more help you need going to sleep. Because nothing is better for your overall health than a great night's sleep. And I love to sleep.
Right, I do too.
I love to get that deep sleep where I wake up and I'm like, oh, I didn't even move. So that's so good for us. And again, it's good for your immune system. It's good for everything. When you don't sleep well at night, you're messing everything up.
Absolutely.
So
that's like the best. That's like one of the key components of total wellness is getting enough sleep, especially if you're trying to lose weight too, because if you don't get enough sleep, you don't give your body a chance to heal and recover like you're supposed to. So
correct.
But
all your organs reset at night too. That's another thing that I would love to work with people on is helping them get a good night's sleep. I actually did a webinar on getting a good night's sleep, and it is about just keeping that thing away from your head at night. Turn off your Wi-Fi if you can, if it's not attached to your home alarm or whatever. Don't read your screen and then try going right to sleep.
Yeah.
You know, I talk about dimming the lights the last 2 hours, you know, create that routine every night before you go to bed. Start your diffuser with your calming oils. I take a gel cap that's oils and herbs combined for sleep.
Right.
I take my natural calm, and I sleep. I sleep great. And I wake up, and I always tell people, if
But
you
that's
do
a
not,
routine.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's,
Yeah. But there's a guy I follow, and he said you have to create a routine. He creates a routine for when he wakes up, and he creates a routine for when we go to sleep. And so one of the things that I took from him, and which I was already doing, like I took a bath. So I'll take a shower in the morning, but at night I take a bath. And I take a bath, and I put like some
Epsom salt.
Epsom salt, go with the magnesium so they can like penetrate your system. And then I'll put some lavender essential oil in there to relax me.
Mix it in the salt first, and then it mixes in the water. It doesn't just lay on top, and that is heaven. Try marjoram oil too in there.
Okay.
That is marjoram and lavender together in Epsom salts in a bath is
Okay, I'm gonna try that. Because
good night. It will knock you out. And the marjoram is antispasmodic, so really soothing to anything in the body that's been overworked. And again, I'm hauling heavy bags, or I'm playing tennis, or you know, I'm walking tons all day long in and out of places and up and down stairs, and you know, my body's tired at night, and that combination is amazing. But you're right, routine, it's Pavlovian. Your body and your brain start going, oh, I know what this is. It's bedtime.
it's bedtime.
This is where we calm down, and this is where I go to sleep. And it really does work. I mean, if you brush your teeth every night and do everything in that same sequence, your brain goes, oh, okay. Oh, I know what's happening here.
Right.
And I think that's also how you get to really see the effects of essential oils is through a routine.
Absolutely. Oh, consistency. Yes, absolutely. That is so important. I'm glad you brought that up, because, you know, it's just like anything else. You don't do it once or twice. And again, it's not the magic pill. I'm not telling you it's the magic pill, but if you support the body consistently, you are going to see profound changes in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, with doing that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a great point.
Wow.
So let's I want people to, before we should we wait, or
Go ahead. You go first.
I want to tell people how to get in touch with you.
Okay.
And what things that you have going on. I know you have Awesome Natural Healing.
I do. My company is Awesome Natural Healing, and so my website is awesomenaturalhealing.com. My email is awesomenaturalhealing@gmail.com. But you know, you're more than welcome to like my Facebook page, which is also Awesome Natural Healing. I do, if you're local, I do workshops and classes all over the place. I do one-on-ones. I do free 30-minute phone consultations with anybody. I've got a calendar link that you can find on my website, and just schedule a free call, and we talk about whatever you want to talk about, and no strings attached. I don't pester anybody. I had a woman call me today. She wants to get some doTERRA oils. I'm meeting her tomorrow. And she said she met a woman at a health fair a week ago, and she said, this woman has called me every day.
Right.
She said, and I'm like, well, that's never going to be me. Like, if you ask me to call you, I mean, you worked with me, right? I didn't pester you. I don't like to be pestered, so I'm not going to pester you. And then I always tell people, you can buy your essential oils from literally there's almost 7 million people in the world that can sell you a doTERRA oil. That's how many account holders they have. But there's probably not very many of them that are as educated as I am in the safety and the contraindications and the protocols. And I'm never going to give you advice that's going to hurt you.
Right.
I'm never going to sell you a product and never talk to you again. I literally have a client, she burned herself on a Sunday night. She burned herself really badly, and she got on Messenger and saw my green light, so she knew I was online. And she, asks me, what do I do? And, I walked her through that. She had some oils, and I walked her through that. And she tells that story every time she can, because she said, Marylou is constantly there for me. And I really enjoy doing that. I mean, you know, sometimes my boyfriend gets aggravated because he'll be like, "Oh, you're on the phone again," and I always tell people text. You know, I will answer your text before I'll do anything else, because I can do other things while I'm doing that. And
Right.
you know, he'll look at me like, "Really? You're on the phone again?" I'm like, "It's a sick baby," and he'll go, "Okay." But it's important to me. It's important to me to be there for you. And so, and again, it doesn't cost you any more to buy a doTERRA oil from me than it does from anybody else. But you're getting somebody who will be your partner in this, and who has been trained. I mean, sadly, you don't have to have any training to be able to resell a doTERRA oil. None, zero.
Right.
You have to, you know, sign an agreement that says, you know, some business things you won't do. But you don't have to have any training, and that is a little scary because these are safe and they're natural, but they're powerful and not something you want to use willy-nilly. And there's some fear-mongering out there on the internet. I just saw something where a lady had burned herself on her face with, I think it was probably oregano oil. And that's what I commented on the post, because it was a website I follow, like Healthy Holistic Living, and you know, again, a little bit of, sometimes I think there is fear mongering created out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so my comment was, this is why you want to buy your essential oils from somebody who's been trained. You know, not just, you don't want to go out there by yourself, or you don't want to buy them from somebody who, you know, I always say, you know, your husband's office manager's mother-in-law can sell you an oil, but has she been trained like I've been trained? It's going to cost you the same. That bottle of lemon oil is going to cost you $10 no matter who you buy it through. So wouldn't you feel better using it for, you know, taking guidance from somebody that's been certified? And from a practitioner standpoint, they're not liable if I teach a class at their office and you know, somebody has an adverse reaction, which, by the way, the doTERRA adverse reaction rate is 7 out of 100,000. 7 people out of 100,000. That's a that's a lot of zeros and decimal points that I can't remember what it is, but and that is generally a mild skin irritation because they haven't used the oil properly, because they haven't been told how to use the oil properly. And safety is always one of the number one things I get into in my classes, because I don't want you to burn yourself.
Right.
You know, my daughter has a friend that took some oregano oil. She had a little ringworm that she picked up at the gym. She put some oregano oil and put a Band-Aid on it and went to bed. And was horrified when she woke up the next day, and she basically was burned.
Right.
My daughter's like, you know better than that. But, you know, so that's where the 7 out of 100,000 comes from.
Right.
From things like that. But again, if you have a child that you want to use essential oils on, I can't imagine why you would just blindly go into that and not ask for the advice of somebody who's willing to give you the advice for free.
Right.
So because you get the biofeedback scans when you're my doTERRA client, you get the one-on-one meetings, you get constant attention from me via text message and whatever you need. So yeah.
Okay.
So
that
not
was
only
helpful.
do you do essential oils, you nutrition. So it's all around. It's all around nutrition.
And I'm in the middle of another course where I'm just learning a little more about weight loss through, again, proper digestion. 100% of overweight people have digestive issues. 100%. That's not a number that is out there very often,
Right.
100% of anything. But yeah, 100% of overweight people have digestive issues. And again, it's the food and our inability to digest and those sort of things. So when you start teaching people how to eat right and how to support their healthy digestion,
So
they're on
where's
those weight.
so you got your health coaching? Where'd you go through?
I got a handful of certifications from they're all from different places.
Okay.
I did not go to one place and get them all. And honestly, a lot of my certifications came from me wanting to help clients more. Like I'd have a client who came to me and wanted to know more about something, and so I would go do additional research, and then the certification, because I'm just such a research junkie, it would just mean that getting the certification was basically just taking the exam at that point. So that's kind of how that all came to be.
What's your thoughts on the eat right for your blood type?
I think there's some really good information there. It's been a long time since I read that information, so I don't have it off the top of my head like now. But I know that I'm O positive, and I know
Me
that
too.
I will never be a vegan or a vegetarian.
Right.
I need animal proteins.
As much as I mentally respect the whole vegan, I know that I can't do it.
I know I can't either.
And it's not like a mindset thing, but physically I can't do it.
When Irma went through last fall and we lost power, I knew we were going to lose power, so I went and bought just literally a grocery store full, or a grocery cart, not a grocery store, a grocery cart full of fresh vegetables, fresh organic vegetables to juice, because I knew I had one outlet that was on generator. I was going to have a refrigerator, but I wasn't going to have a stove or anything. I don't use a microwave. And I set out to do a 3-day juice cleanse. And I said, if I can handle more than 3, I'll do 5. And then if I can do 5, I'll do 7. And on 6, I was like, body's asking real loudly for meat. And I just had some clean protein, some organic chicken, and I felt totally different.
Because O positive or O blood type, we can process meat very well.
Yes.
Now, people who are A are the ones that more typically could be the vegans.
Vegan,
Because
totally.
they don't really process meat very well. So they tend to eat more vegetables naturally anyway. So they're the ones that would be more likely to go vegan. Us, not so much.
I cannot get what my body is craving after that long without meat from a pea protein or anything like that. There's no vegetable protein that is going to satisfy my body's nutritional needs like an organic chicken breast or a piece of wild-caught salmon or some clean beef.
Right.
So
like for me, even though I get it and I will, like for me, if somebody has a condition that I feel might need to go vegan, then I'll tell them
absolutely.
But when I coach somebody, I always ask for their blood type. So then therefore I already know if I try to create you a meal plan that, okay, if you're O, I can't take meat out your process. But if you're A, I'm gonna give you more of a vegan type meal plan based on your blood type, all that kind of stuff. And so a lot of people try to scare you and make it seem like there's only one way to be completely the best.
A lot of people
way.
try to shame you into being a vegan. That makes me mad.
But we was taught. I was
You
taught.
shame me.
I was taught in health coaching school that each person is different by their biology.
Sure.
So then, therefore, you can't give them the same thing for everybody.
Absolutely not.
So then, therefore, you can't just say everybody needs to be vegan. Because it might not work for everybody's body, stuff like that. So, even though I respect it, it might not be for everybody.
Right.
So.
But I'm not going to tell you you're not as good as me if you don't eat meat.
Right.
I know a couple people the other way that
I know
they want to look down their nose at me because I'm not a vegan, especially because I'm a health coach, and I just don't subscribe to that.
Right. And that's the craziness. People will say, "Well, you're a health coach. Are you a vegan?" I said, "No."
And a lot of people are very relieved when I tell them that. They go, "Oh, are you a vegan or a vegetarian?" I'm like, "No, I'm a carnivore," and they're like, "Phew. Okay, maybe we can talk."
No, I say I'll give you times where I need you to do raw vegan for maybe 7 days.
Absolutely.
To clean your system out.
Yeah.
But no. But it depends on it just depends on the person. And so they get relieved because I guess they get scared that because we're a holistic health coach that we automatically gonna say you have to become a vegan.
I will teach you how to eat a grass-fed cheeseburger. Because I'm not giving that up. So I always say, I'll find you organic wine.
Yeah.
I'll teach you that Swiss cheese is actually good for your digestion, so you can have that on your grass-fed cheeseburger. And I'll tell you all the non-GMO beers that I've researched because I love enjoying my life. I'm not going to be. People say to me, "What do you think of Whole30?" I'm like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I don't believe in deprivation. I don't believe in extremes. I can't live a life that way. And I think you just set yourself up to feel bad about yourself.
Right. So what you think about keto?
In a short duration, I think it's great. I eat what I call modified paleo. Paleo is just too much meat even for me. So I try to substitute like quinoa and things like that occasionally, but I don't think keto's sustainable for a really long time. I don't think it's good for you a really long time.
No, isn't it, to me, it's like another version of like the Atkins diet? Just a different name to it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And those people who did that, is like pretty much, it's good if you just trying to lose a quick 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
But it's not sustainable because once you start
You're not gonna keep the
incorporating,
weight off. Yeah.
right? Once you start incorporating the carbs and stuff back into your diet, you're gonna gain the weight right back anyway. So
And I don't want you to diet.
right.
I want you to learn a better lifestyle. And, digestive enzymes are like the number one thing you can do to help you maintain a healthy weight. If you eat a digestive enzyme every time you eat, that's a really good first step. And, then I always tell people avoid high fructose corn syrup, and it is in everything. That stuff's terrible for you. So I just tell you a couple things to avoid and a couple things to do. And, people lose weight. Hormonal balance makes a huge change because, fat cells have hormone levels. And when they're out of balance, you look at normal healthy fat cells and you look at obese fat cells, and obese, that word isn't very far from where we are. You know what I mean? I hate that word.
Right.
You don't really have to be that overweight to be classified obese.
That's true.
So a normal healthy fat cell, and even skinny people have fat cells, obviously, has a different hormonal structure than an obese fat cell. And obviously obese fat cells don't like to move out of the body as quickly as normal healthy fat cells do. And so if you can reverse the hormonal imbalance in the fat cells, that'll help you lose weight too. So, and there are actually oils that they're finding now are doing that.
Really?
There's a new oil coming out in December with doTERRA. It's a combination of yarrow, which we a lot of us know that's a popular perennial flower down here. But then it's pomegranate seed oil too. It's the first time doTERRA's done a seed oil that's not an essential oil. So it's called a nutritive duo, because there's actually nutrition in pomegranate seed. Obviously, we know a lot of those benefits. So they combine that, and you can take it internally it supports healthy cholesterol, it supports healthy blood pressure, and it's helping with hormonal balance in the fat cells. So people, without changing any other things, they released a small quantity of it in September for us at convention. And I've read a lot of Facebook posts, and it even happened to me. I lost about 6 pounds, and I wasn't doing anything else other than just taking that internally for about a month. And I think it just flushed some of those hormonally unbalanced fat cells out of me. It was pretty cool.
Wow.
So, I know, talk about life-changing. But again, none of that matters if you're going to eat bologna sandwiches on white bread and, French fries and Diet Coke. So, you got to start fueling your temple, properly.
And you're not saying anything that's really extreme. I mean, except for the high fructose corn syrup, which is in everything.
It is in
And
everything.
you have
it's
to be
in bread. It's in everything. You have to
vigilant.
read labels. You have to read every label that you ever, want to buy, or just stop buying things with labels. That's really easy. You don't have to worry about what's in it if it doesn't have a label.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Speaking of labels, one more thing is that I want people to, we talk about reading labels here, and we talk about the therapeutic grade on doTERRA's bottles compared to what you see in the store.
Yeah, and doTERRA came up with that, actually. They wanted to create, because there is nothing out there protecting you. You can buy a crappy Walmart essential oil, and there's nobody policing what's in that bottle. Isn't that horrifying? So you can buy what you think is an essential oil, and it may be nothing different than what's in a bottle of Febreze. So, I had a client that she bought a kit with a diffuser, and she was diffusing some oils, and she was at TJ Maxx getting something for her kids, and there was a little point of sale 3-pack of essential oils for $5 or something, and she thought, well, all I'm doing is diffusing them. She came home and they killed all of her houseplants. So her houseplants in that room where she was diffusing them died. So she had kids and pets, breathing that same air. So you don't know what you're getting.
Right.
So, yes, there are brands like our Akasha that you can get at the grocery store that are, healthy fragrance in your home. But they have no therapeutic benefit. They have no health benefits. They are not plant-based medicine. They are not poison, but they are not plant-based medicine.
Okay.
So if you're looking for plant-based medicine, you, in my opinion, should go for something that is a certified pure therapeutic grade that has gone through at least 6 quality tests. doTERRA oils have the lot number on the bottle. On the bottom of the bottle, you can type that into a website called Source to You, and you can actually see the individual gas chromatography report on the lot that filled that bottle of oil. And you could see the pesticides they've tested for, the chemicals they've tested for, and you could see there's none of that in there. So it is, you can rest very sure on the quality of the doTERRA oils. And I've seen them do amazing things to people. So I know they work. They've done amazing things to my body. They've supported my body to heal things that my doctor said I would never get off medication from, and that's my thyroid. I have a great MD, and he leans very holistically. He is an MD. He will write a prescription when he needs to, but it's not his first line of defense. He likes to talk about herbs and vitamins and things like that. But he told me, Marylou, get over it. You're never coming off those thyroid meds. And I did.
Wow.
And I cleaned it out of all those things, all those fake fragrances. I was able to literally just apply oils topically to clean it, and then I supported it with the supplements internally that support normal, healthy thyroid function, and I have amazingly normal, healthy thyroid function and no medication. And so does my daughter. My daughter was on Synthroids, told her the same thing. She actually worked for an endocrinologist. And so she still gets her blood checked regularly, and they shrug their shoulders and go, well, I don't know what you're doing. And she says, you want me to tell you what I'm doing? And they go, no, I don't know what you're doing.
Right.
Wow.
So they're not ready. They'll get there.
No, they're not. So as we get ready to wind down, what I like to do is give you the opportunity to speak from your heart, whatever you're passionate about, you want the audience to know. This is your chance to do so. So whatever you feel like want to tell people.
Wow, put me on the
chance.
spot a little.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
I want people to know that my why is, that I love helping people, and I know that sounds corny, and I don't mean for it to, but it was my boyfriend who told me that you need to take this into the world, because people would send me text messages that would just make me cry. And I got one this morning where this woman said, I slept better than I've slept in 10 years. My focus is spot on. I'm getting so much more done at work. You are the miracle that I have been praying for. And that is definitely my why. When somebody says to me, you are the answer to my prayers, that just makes me full know that I'm doing the work that God created me to do. And I'm sorry it took me 50 years to figure it out, but I figured it out, and I feel very blessed to be his conduit to these beautiful products. And I would love to help anybody out there who's looking to live a healthier and happier life. So.
And one more time, how can they reach you again?
Marylou Harris, Awesome Natural Healing, awesomenaturalhealing.com, awesomenaturalhealing@gmail.com. My cell phone number is 404-328-6435. I'd love to get a text message from anybody that is out there that needs my help.
All right, EC.
Great. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you so much, Miss Marylou Harris. Please get in contact with her. Look her up at Awesome Natural Healing. And I hope you enjoy. Hope you learned something new today. I know I did. And Kevin, thanks again for this. For having me.
First of all,
and happy holidays to everyone.
First of all, thank to you, because you have been knocking me out the box for the past few months that you've been doing the show with me. You come with great guests that even I learned something from, and so
That's awesome.
I really appreciate you. And I think you have found what you're supposed to be doing.
Okay, thank you. See how you doing me?
It's an honor for me to have you on my show once a month.
Okay,
And so,
thank you.
Well, thank you, Kevin, for allowing me to be
And
here. I'm very grateful.
I want to talk to you off air.
Absolutely.
But as for me, I just want to thank everybody for tuning into the show. I've learned in the past week that, everything I'm doing, it may not always be noticed physically, but people are always watching. So I just signed something to where I will be on a show I'm gonna tape the show December 7th for holistic healing.
Oh, wow.
They saw me on social media. They saw the show and they really liked the show.
Very nice.
So they want to give me opportunities to speak about holistic health and my why and why I want to do it. And so it's going to be showcased in cities like Detroit, Louisville, Kentucky, D.C., stuff like that on a community station. So
Congratulations.
thank you. So I'm really excited about that. It just shows that you put the work in, and the universe is going to slowly give you what you're looking for. So,
Absolutely.
Stay positive to everyone. Put one foot forward after the next one, and you will get to where you're supposed to go if you're doing everything purposely and intentionally. So with that being said, happy Thanksgiving to all you guys, and be your best self, be great, be authentic, and we are out. Peace out.
See you.